Hello everyone, I'm International Master Andrew Martin and welcome to this new chess-based DVD on the Closed Sicilian, an opening variation which I've always had a liking for ever since I was a kid. Now, do you have a fantastic memory and a liking for sharp positions? Are you able to memorise long main lines where one wrong decision can cost you the game? If so, then the main lines of the open Sicilian are probably right up your street. But if you're part of the other 99% of chess players who do not fall into this category, at open 1e4, then the closed Sicilian is probably a very worthwhile option for you. The closed Sicilian offers white a set of easy to understand plans, the chance of a kingside attack, and little danger of being outgunned by tactics in the opening stage. Now on this DVD, I'm going to introduce you to no less than 3 different opening lines, all operating under the Closed Sicilian banner, but which are all separate in their own way. You will have variety at your disposal and an arsenal of weapons against the Sicilian defence, which of course is absolutely essential when we play 1e4. So first off, I'm going to take a look at the main lines of the Closed Sicilian. That's where white plays with g3. Now, black, of course, could have played 2d6 on the last move. He could play 2e6. I'm recommending g3 against each. And that will be our first topic on this DVD. Then we're going on to take a look at the move d3, which is different in its own way. I think the main difference is that white retains the option of playing pawn to c3 at some point, shutting down the long diagonal, which I think you'll see could be useful if black had a bishop on g7. This opening is often known as the big clamp, and we're going to see some interesting examples of play with it. Then finally, we're going to take a look at a move which actually looks like nothing at first sight, bishop e2, but which is far more dangerous than it looks as our third option. I mean, what can be wrong with it? You know, white develops a piece, he gets closer to kingside castling. Okay, it doesn't seem as though he's going to mount any sort of serious pressure on the black position. But at the same time, he's saying to black, well, how are you going to meet this move? And we're going to see that bishop e2 is far more dangerous than it looks. All of these weapons have distinct merit and will make up, as I say, a dangerous array of weapons against the Closed Sicilian. So to start off with, I'm going to show you an instructive game, an opening game, to demonstrate that, well, bishop e2, for instance, is far more dangerous than it looks. And it's an interesting game. It's between two guys with the same name. The famous Ginger GM, Simon Williams, playing with the white pieces, who has become an advocate of bishop e2 in recent years. And he's playing Sam Williams, a young man, talented chess player who I've known since he was a kid. And this game was played in the 4NCL in England in 2014. And Sam Williams, that is, decided to answer bishop e2 with e6. And, you know, this is a very flexible move. f4. And this is one of the main ideas behind white's system. If allowed, he's going to turn the game into a reversed Dutch type of position, where a kingside attack is very much on his mind. Now, Sam Williams doesn't do anything particularly wrong in this game, yet white still get the kingside attack. I mean, actually, as we'll see, Sam decides to play very sensible moves. First of all, he plays d5, which a lot of Sicilian players will, and Simon played d3, which is the first offer of the game in many ways, because black is allowed the option of trading queens. How does that go? Well, black just takes on e4, white takes back, and then black takes the queen off. Now, I would argue, actually, that this is not the type of thing that most Sicilian players will like. The queens come off at an early stage. You know, white is operating with a slight advantage, and the pawn will rapidly go to c3, taking away the square d4 from the black pieces. And this creates a position which is incredibly difficult for black to win. I mean, I think the Sicilian is an opening where, you know, it's an uncompromising opening, isn't it? You're creating an asymmetric pawn structure right from the start, and black is playing to win. Here, it's very unlikely that black is going to win the game. So most Sicilian players will play something different. They'll play knight c6, or as Sam Williams plays here, the move g6. Knight f3, bishop g7, all the time offering black the chance to take on e4, because, you know, Simon knows that white will get a slight edge after that move. We'll see that in a bit more detail later. And now black plays knight to e7, queen to e1. Well, this type of thing should prove very attractive to club players worldwide. The idea of queen e1 and then queen h4 is known in reverse from the Dutch, and it's known in the Sicilian from variations such as the Grand Prix attack and things like that, other anti-Sicilians. And it's very dangerous. So, like a lot of experienced players will do, Sam Williams tries to create counterplay on the queen side in the centre before he commits his king. And this is a sensible option for black. I mean, black could castle straight into the attack, but that's very naive. Most Sicilian players will play as Sam does here, just trying to create some counterplay in the middle of the border on the queen side before the action starts on the king side, if it starts at all. White may well have to spend time defending against black's threats rather than setting up an attack of his own. Well, that's what white is hoping for. So bishop b7, still very sensible stuff. The pawn on e4 was attacked, so white defends it, and now black brings out his knight. I think one of the reasons I like this game was that actually black plays in a style which looks very sensible. You know, you can definitely say that black is playing like many experienced Sicilian players will. No mistakes so far, pressing forward on the queen side, creating that counterplay, and where's the white king side attack? Well, I would say it is there. It's lurking. White is waiting for black to castle. So, rook to b1. Now, Simon Williams is known for his direct play. So, what's this move all about? It looks quiet. It looks passive. But in reality, white's just making room for his bishop on c1 to move. And he's also creating prophylactic ideas on the queen side, stopping black from opening up the queen side at the right moment. Getting the rook off the long diagonal, taking away black's tactics. It's a useful looking move. And black met it by bringing his queen out to b6. Bishop e3, as prepared by the last move. And now quite a big decision by black. Rook to c8, because now black can't castle, of course, on the queen side. Pawn to c3. And now black bites the bullet and castles. Well, just going back, I mean, could he wait? Could he wait? Could he still wait? Again, a tricky question to answer. I mean, he can wait with moves like h6. He can even play a move like, however outrageous it may look, king to d7. Maybe running the king away to c7 and then b8. But white is in quite good shape to open up the queen side. So black's got to be very careful if he starts marching his king across to the queen side in this position. It's not that easy. Despite the fact that that black has played a whole series of natural-looking moves, it's not that easy for black. And, of course, that's why this is a good practical system for white, because you create a position like this where you've always got the chance of a kingside attack, but where black is, you know, black is struggling to create a concrete plan. Let's put it that way. So black castled, and king h1 was played. And you're going to see this move quite often in the Closed Sicilian complex, whether it be with knight c3 and g3, or bishop e2 as here, or d3. Takes away a lot of black's tactics, prepares a move like g4, and the king is somewhat safer on h1 than it is on g1. And in a way, Simon Williams is kind of waiting to see what black's going to do. Well, black played bishop a6. Now came h4. Well, here we have a move for which Simon Williams is notorious. I mean, he's created DVDs all based around this subject, the idea of a bayonet thrust against the enemy kingside, h4. He's created books on the subject, a d4, c4 repertoire where h4 is the pillar of many of his opening suggestions. And it's characteristic of his style. Here, it looks very, very dangerous. I've no doubt at all All White's idea was that if black played h5, to play g4, whether straight away or in very short order, we don't know. But this is the idea for White, just to blast open the kingside. And you have to say that although black is defending with the minimum on the kingside, he could run into trouble there. So he didn't play h5. Instead, he played rook to c7, which allowed White to play h5, and now d4. Again, trying to mix things up, trying to stop White from the obvious plan of obliterating the black king. Bishop d2. Black takes on c3. White recaptures. And now we see the usefulness of the move rook to b1 somewhat earlier in the game. Well, we've reached a position which, frankly, is not that easy for black to play. I think White's attacking chances are now considerable, based on moves like knight to g4, and then queen to h4 at some point. I mean, maybe White's got to attend to his centre. Maybe he's got to play a move like c4 before he starts all that kingside action. But certainly the next move by black encourages Simon Williams to do what he does best, and that is to slaughter the enemy king. So White starts by opening up the h-file, and then he brings his knight in. And, well, the threat of queen h4, as you can see, is very real. And then knight g5, followed by carnage. What is black going to do about that? Well, the move he played, rook fb8, although it looks pretty, doesn't do very much. But what can he do? I mean, I suppose he can play a move like f5. After that, I'm not sure. Maybe White can go knight e5. I mean, could it conceivably be possible to sacrifice a piece here with knight to g5? I mean, if it was, that would be the sort of thing that Simon Williams would like to play. I don't know whether this works or not, but it's certainly a possibility. You can see what Sam Williams was worried about. But after rook fb8, queen h4, I think the attack is already too strong to actually stop. Just a couple of easy moves for White, and then the attack is there. Queen to d8, knight to g5, b takes c3, and this allows a beautiful finish. Quite a rare finish, and let's see it now. Knight f6 check. Well, of course, if black takes this, then the queen comes into h7, and that is checkmate. And if he doesn't take it, an artistic checkmate is created after king f8, knight g8-7. And that's, in fact, what happened in the game. And somehow the attack, when it came, was very swift. You know, it looked as though White was lying back on the ropes, just stopping all of black's threats. But then suddenly he came forward and checkmated black. Not out of nowhere, but you know, you can see the attack was incredibly swift. So this is the type of thing we're going to be looking to create on this DVD. Some sort of kingside attack for White. And we've got 3 different ways that we're going to try to do it. So I hope you enjoy this DVD. Let's crack on now. And our first port of call is going to be the Closed Sicilian proper.